All right, let's kick this off. Welcome, everyone. I am Sarah Bruno. I am the Executive Director of the Public Leadership Education Network. So welcome to all of you. I know this is not exactly how we were expecting to do this year's Mentor Awards, but we are so glad that you're all here regardless. So for those of you who don't know PLEN, I'm sure most of you do, but our mission is to increase the number of women who are affecting all levels of public policy. And for over the last 41 years, we have given over 4,200 women the skills, networks, and confidence they need to become policy leaders. Usually our programs, as you probably know, take place in DC, but things, of course, that's been a challenge over the last few months. We had to, as my favorite word, and Nancy Boxber's as well, our favorite new word is pivot. We had to pivot our seminar, Women in Global Policy, to be in a virtual environment. So that took place last week. We were so overwhelmed with the incredible interest. We had 77 students, a record, I think, for PLEN, from 25 schools, 22 states. We had students participated from all over the world, actually. We had a few international students. They learned about careers at the State Department, in various NGOs, national security, renewable energy, and so much more. And despite the miles, I think, you know, we really saw that they were able to connect with each other and start to build those relationships that are so important, and will really stick with them throughout their lives, we hope, even if they're, you know, it started off virtually. I think one thing I have realized through this whole crazy time we're in right now is that young people are certainly in a good place to deal with all of this technology, and I have been so impressed with the way that the students were able to handle that. I think it's been really tough on them, and I'm so glad that they were able to participate. I think, you know, the other thing that they were able to do was connect with a lot of women who are going to become their mentors, and those relationships have already started. And that's why we're here tonight, because that is such an important piece of young women's leadership and development, is to have those mentors that they can look up to, and that they really can learn from, and who can help them grow, whether that's as a traditional mentor, or I think we've started to hear the term sponsor. So, you know, I think tonight is going to be a testament to all of those amazing women who are going to help the next generation kind of come up and sort of reach behind them and pull the next generation up. The 5 women that we're going to celebrate tonight truly embody the spirit of PLEN. They've mentored countless women over the years in various capacities, in various countries and fields and industries. And I'm just so excited that we get to honor them. While not in person, we are so thankful that we get to honor them tonight and raise a glass and toast their amazing leadership. So without further ado, we are going to start. We're going to have a few video interludes here. So we'll do the first one. Hi, I'm Sarah Bruno, Executive Director of PLEN. I'll start by sharing a little bit about one of my own mentors, Anna Edwards. Anna was one of my first bosses here in DC. Among other things, she taught me the importance of backing up your staff no matter what, and also how to maintain a pretty awesome sense of humor in the face of the most difficult and stressful situations. To this day, when faced with a challenge at work, or really any challenge in my life, I ask myself, what would Anna do? And I usually come up with a pretty good answer and have a laugh about it too. So thanks, Anna.
Hi, I'm Erica Dahl. I'm the Vice President of Government Affairs for Vivint Solar and a proud member of the board of PLEN. My mentor was my boss, my first job out of graduate school. It was my first job as a lobbyist. And I remember one day after I was particularly worried about how I had done representing my company in a state legislature, she sat me down and told me that she would always have my back. And I have kept that advice with me for the last 25 years. And therefore, she's been a true mentor to me.
I'm so happy to share two of the women who have been my most important mentors in my life and in my career, Maryanne Alexander and Ruth Mandel. Both women taught me how to persevere, how to keep going no matter what, how to just keep taking one step forward. And I'm so grateful to both of them and so grateful to PLEN.
Great. So to present our first award, I want to introduce Erin Duncan from the Solar Energy Industry Association.
Is it working?
Turn up the volume a little bit, I think.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Erin Duncan. I'm the Vice President of Congressional Affairs at the Solar Energy Industries Association. And on behalf of SEIA, I'm so proud to present this award in recognition of Representative Jaime Herrera Beutler. The Congresswoman has been serving her district since 2011 as one of the youngest women ever elected to the House of Representatives, and the first Hispanic Latina to serve Washington State. She has shown her commitment to developing young women's leadership and education, in addition to championing health issues for women and families and all of us. She's a member of the Congressional Caucus for Women's Issues and the Republican Women's Policy Committee. And if I could just take a point of personal privilege, it has been an absolute pleasure to watch her career develop and to see such a strong woman raising her children and representing her state with such grace and pride and honesty. And Jaime and I were on the Hill together when we were very young staffers, and it is always thrilling to me to see what an incredible leader she has become and the courage with which she takes on her many, many roles as a mother, as a representative, and as a leader. So I am absolutely thrilled to be able to present this award to her.
Hi there, I'm Congresswoman Jaime Herrera Beutler, and I wanted to thank you so much for honoring me with the 2020 Mentor Award. I wish I could be with you in person to accept this award, but I know we are taking precautions to physically distance, and we're staying safe at this time. So receiving the Mentor Award is truly an honor, and after looking at the list of past Mentor Award honorees, I'm really humbled to join these other esteemed leaders. Like many of you, I became interested in politics and policy early in my childhood. Growing up, I was fortunate enough that my mom would take my brothers and I to Olympia, our state capital, to see how it all worked. We also volunteered for local campaigns, attended community events, and helped with local causes. You all know these activities aren't always glamorous, but they helped instill in us the value of both helping shape and giving back to our community. Another formative experience for me, the weeks after 9/11, I went to Ground Zero to help out with basic tasks, serving breakfast and giving blankets to those first responders who were doing the difficult task of search and cleanup. That experience stuck with me. Through all of this, I was inspired by those around me who'd spent most of their lives in service to their communities, and that's why I've dedicated so much of my life to service. Now that I've been serving in Southwest Washington as Congresswoman for nearly 10 years, life has certainly changed for me. I was just married months before my first campaign, and now I'm the mom of 3 young children. This new role as mom and the perspective I've gained from it has inspired me to work on legislation to make life better for mothers and babies across this country. This cause has my total commitment, and as long as I'm serving here in Congress, I'm proud to secure legislation into law, things like the Preventing Maternal Deaths Act, to address our country's rising maternal mortality rates. I'm also working to expand access to health care for children of all zip codes, all income levels, and all medical complexities. A major piece of how I operate is being willing to work with Republicans and Democrats to find common ground and get real results. And I'm proud to say that this formula has led to a lot of successes. Again, I want to thank you all for honoring me with this prestigious award. I hope you have a wonderful and successful event. Thank you so much.
Great. Now to present our second award, I would like to introduce Katie Ott from Exelon.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you everyone for coming tonight. I am really excited to have this opportunity. My name is Katie Ott. I'm a Director of Federal Government Affairs with Exelon Corporation. We are a member of the energy industry and run many utilities across the country. And in that capacity, I've had the honor of working with Senator Patty Murray many times. Senator Patty Murray hails from Washington State and was elected to the U.S. Senate in 1992, which then was called the Year of the Woman, when women gained a record 6 U.S. Senate seats in one election. Since then and throughout her career, Senator Murray has been focused on expanding opportunities for women in Washington State and across the country, from helping break down barriers women face in the workplace, to standing up for a woman's constitutionally guaranteed right to make her own decisions about her body. Senator Murray has fought hard for women's rights and health, and she is particularly well known on Capitol Hill for her support of women's health issues. Senator Patty Murray is the ranking member on the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, or the Health Committee. And she also serves on the Senate Appropriations and Senate Budget Committees. So she's a very, very busy woman. And of course, famously, just a few years back, Senator Murray struck one of the last big bipartisan deals on Capitol Hill in finding a budget agreement with, at the time, Speaker Paul Ryan. So PLEN is really, really pleased and excited to present Senator Murray with one of this year's Mentor Awards. And though she couldn't be with us tonight, she did send a video message.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for this recognition. I'm so honored to accept the Mentor Award tonight from the Public Leadership Education Network. Some of you may have heard about the moment that got me into politics. While advocating for my own children's preschool program, I was told by a state senator that I was just a mom in tennis shoes who couldn't make a difference. Well, I'm still a mom in tennis shoes, but since then, I like to think that I and a lot of other moms and women have helped change our communities and our country for the better. Having more women at the table and more perspectives to give voice to all the diversity in our country is critical now more than ever in the face of this unprecedented crisis. And organizations like PLEN are so important in helping more women enter leadership roles and create the change our country needs to ensure nobody is left behind. So thank you again for this honor, and to PLEN for everything you're doing to inspire the next generation of women leaders. I look forward to seeing some of you in the Senate one day. Thank you.
Great. So next I want to introduce Meredith Singer, who is on the PLEN Board of Directors from IBM, to present our next award.
Thank you, Sarah. And good evening, everyone. My name is Meredith Singer, and I'm a federal lobbyist for IBM Corporation based in Washington, D.C. And as Sarah noted, I proudly serve on the PLEN board. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you our next mentor awardee, Marti Estell. Marty, who retired last year from the State Department after a distinguished career as a senior Foreign Service officer, has been a tremendous PLEN supporter for many years. During her nearly 27 years at the State Department, she organized countless trips for students to the Department of State, where she introduced them to various careers in the Foreign and Civil Service, and she organized simulations through the State Department's National Museum of American Diplomacy. These experiences inspired countless students to go on to pursue diplomatic careers. For the last several years, Marty has also supported a scholarship for a student to attend PLEN's Women in Global Policy seminar, with a focus on ensuring that there has been a PLEN student from every state in the country. She has served as a mentor for countless PLEN students and has been an invaluable supporter and cheerleader, I might add, to the PLEN staff, providing guidance and helping to recruit speakers and mentors. Marty even attended Stevens College, which was an original PLEN school. Join me in congratulating Marty as one of our 2020 Mentor awardees.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am very honored. I'm very pleased to accept this award. I have always enjoyed every interaction I have had from the women that I've met through PLEN, and I've always walked away from every event completely impressed by the caliber of the women that PLEN convokes. For me, this is an exceedingly important time for PLEN's work. We need more women in public policy. We need young women to understand that they have a voice, and how, not only that they have a voice, this generation knows they have a voice. What PLEN does is give them a platform and the skills to do it most effectively. I, of course, want them all to go into global affairs and become diplomats. I realize PLEN has other seminars that are of equal importance, so that's okay too. But I just want to say how much I've enjoyed my interaction with PLEN and how much I have enjoyed learning from the women who participate in this program. And I want to give a special shout out and kudos to the team for their online rendition of the global policy. It was fabulous. Not that I expected anything less, but you guys did a great job. So I just want to raise a glass and say cheers to you and to PLEN. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty. We appreciate you so much. Now I'd like to introduce Lisa Rice, who is our esteemed former vice chair of the PLEN board. Lisa, take it away.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. I can't see myself, so I just assume I look fabulous, which really doesn't matter. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, staff, for doing the pivot, as Nancy Bosker would say. This has been an incredible couple of weeks, and I'm very excited to be able to introduce the next Mentor Award winner. The next award is the Maryanne Alexander Outstanding Alumna Award. And the recipient is an alumna of my college, Newcomb College. I'm currently the president of the Newcomb Alumni Association, and so it is especially thrilling for me to be able to keep saying Newcomb this and Newcomb that. Nicole Hutchinson graduated from Newcomb in 2007. She is incredibly gifted and smart and talented with a JD and MPP from Pepperdine in 2011, and her LLM in National Security Law from Georgetown in 2012. when she came back to DC, she came back to PLEN. She had been a PLEN student in a seminar in 06 and 07. So she has been giving back to PLEN really since she was working in school, working through school. And she has been a fantastic role model for the PLEN students she's encountered along the way. And I was trying to count out how many students have crossed her path since she first started as a resume reviewer. And it became pretty impossible. I know from our school alone, we have about 60 alumni who have crossed paths with Nicole. So she's probably PLEN-wide has crossed paths with about 200, 250 students. She's absolutely amazing. You may not know, I was interim executive director of PLEN for the 2014-15 academic year, sort of running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But I noticed this volunteer that was always around, and finally, sort of by the spring, I figured it out. Oh my gosh, this woman went to Newcomb. This is amazing. And so I'm really, really excited and really thrilled. And I've got a little bit of chills because it's so important for women to help other women. That's what we learned at Newcomb. That's what we're still teaching through the Newcomb Institute at Tulane University. And that's what Nicole does. And that is why it's really, really my honor to present to you the winner of the Maryanne Alexander Outstanding Alumna Award for 2020, Nicole Hutchinson. Yay!
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I didn't switch to the front. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you, PLEN. It's such an honor to get this award. I've really enjoyed my time with PLEN. I think one of the reasons why I've stayed so involved is I had so much fun in all the seminars I went to. In fact, as Lisa alluded to, I enjoyed it so much I came back 3 times. As a student. So definitely thank you to Newcomb for at least helping me, I think at least 2 of the times to come. And so I guess the one thing that makes this sort of a little bittersweet is that the students aren't here to interact with. That's always sort of my favorite part, particularly the networking sessions that happen during the seminars. I love getting to see the students and meet them, and they always have so much energy and enthusiasm. And they're always so idealistic. It's so great to get sort of that energy from them. It always energizes me after talking to them. And for anyone that doesn't normally participate in PLEN, although hopefully if you're here you do, I would definitely encourage you to be involved with the students. It's a great way to give back, but also a great way to sort of re-energize yourself almost by getting to participate with the students. So hopefully we will all be back together soon, and there'll be some live seminars soon so that we can interact. Actually, I think it was right before this all happened, I actually met with a student who had contacted me. I think it was one of the interns. So hopefully we'll get to do that again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, and thanks so much for being such a great supporter and always showing up, which is so, so important. For our last award, I want to introduce another member of the PLEN Board of Directors, Nancy Boxker.
Well, hello. It's wonderful to be here. And I want to make sure that you all are seeing my photo because I am unmuted. Great. Sarah, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Perfect. So thank you. It's so exciting to be here tonight. And of course, I always have to start any PLEN conversation with Ellie Shaw. When I called Ellie Shaw and told her I was going to move to Denton, Texas to become the first director for the Center for Women in Politics and Public Policy at Texas Women's University, of course, Ellie said, you know, TWU should be come back to PLEN. So of course, when I met my new boss, Major General Mary Saunders, it was on my list, was we need to rejoin PLEN. And of course, it was on her list as well. So as usual, great minds think alike. And as the general would say, you know, I didn't get to be a two-star general by not knowing how to get things done. And we knew that PLEN knew how to prepare women for public leadership. So it is a great pleasure. In the past 20 months, we have from Texas have sent approximately 20 women through PLEN programs. And that is because of the leadership of General Saunders. I asked our Chancellor, Corinne Phaeton, to write some remarks. And so I'm going to read an excerpt of those. As she says, congratulations, Major General Saunders. It's with great respect and humility, I offer you heartfelt congratulations on receiving this prestigious and much deserved Lifetime Achievement Award. When I arrived at Texas Women's University, I had a pretty good idea about the value of mentoring. And as someone who naturally gravitated toward leadership like you, I've had my share of experiences where I was the only woman in the room. As a woman of color, the feelings I've had in those situations must have been multiplied several-fold for you. And you've had the further foresight of thinking intentionally about leadership. You see, General Saunders came back to her alma mater after retiring from a distinguished career in the U.S. Air Force. She knew there was something special about the university that raised her. She recognized that being in a space where mostly women give young women a distinct opportunity to develop leadership skills. She ended up founding the Leadership Institute at Texas Women's University in 2006. As she continues through her 34-year military career, where she rose to the rank of Major General, serving at the Pentagon as the highest-ranking African-American woman in the U.S. Air Force, she honed her leadership and mentorship acumen. Then, in her subsequent 14 years at Texas Women's, she has mentored countless other women, paying forward what Texas Women's gave her back in 1970. I feel I am among those who have benefited from her selfless dedication and devotion to a purpose and an ideal to bring more voices to the table where before sat only white men, and thereby strengthening the decisions that are made at those tables for the benefit in all of our society. To read her bio and the accounting of all she has accomplished and given back to us is to just be in awe. Thank you, Mary, for all you've done for your country, for Texas, for women of color, for Texas Women's, and me. Yours is a legacy of immeasurable courage and honor. On behalf of all of us at Texas Women's, I agree, I congratulate you on this well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award. And thank you, it's a real honor to get to nominate you for this, and I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you very much, and thank you to Texas Women's University. And I think my life has been kind of like Nancy's, very strange. When I was in elementary school, we lived across the street from the elementary school, and one of the things you had to do was vote. And so I didn't know until I think I was in high school that there were people who actually didn't vote. So my parents, it was a big deal. They let me decide, are we voting in the morning, we voting in the afternoon? And of course, I always picked the afternoon because then we could go get ice cream, you know, but I didn't tell them that was my real reason. And so I grew up thinking that people are supposed to vote. So fast forward to my time at Texas Women's University, and I minored in government and obviously learned a lot, you know, from the ground up about how things work. So the summer of my sophomore year, I got to work on the campaign for Congresswoman who turned out to be Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. She did not win the first time, and I tell people I am so sorry because I'm sure that had something to do with me being on the team, but she did win the next time. And so what I learned in that summer was all about action and how to get things done. And so and I'm sure this was against the law, they set up a bank of telephones, and there were about 20 college students. And we were in this neighborhood, and we would go out, and if there were a lot of, you know, potholes and stuff, we would actually measure the potholes, and we would call the city of Houston all day long under somebody else's name complaining about these potholes. Then they had a lot of, bushes and things, overrun, and we call and do that. So that was my first lesson in how a single individual, a small team of people can get things done. So my brother was in the Air Force. And when I went to TWU, I had decided that I wanted to be in the Air Force. I had ROTC in high school, so I was pretty ready for that. And so when I graduated, I went directly to the Air Force. And the first thing they told me, of course, that there were probably about maybe 1% women. And they said, oh, well, we don't have a lot of women in the military, And I said, well, let me tell you about my poor life. I said, first of all, I'm the youngest of 7 children. And they go, oh my God. I said, yes. And 6 of them were girls. They said, that must have been horrible. I said, oh my God, it was, I said, then the second thing, I went to an all girls school. And they go, no. I said, yes. And I said, then when I did my field placement, because I was a social work major, I did that at Parkland Hospital in Dallas. And when I did it there, the first thing you learned was GSW. And they said, what is that? Gunshot wound. And they said, hey, come on down. You're part of the team, no big deal. And so I learned so much about the government. And then the jobs that I was in, probably after I'd been in the service about 10 years, I started working with other services. So I had worked with, war fighters in Japan and Saudi Arabia, and just all over the world. And what I learned about the US government helped me to understand how the other governments work and how to really get things done. And so it makes a huge difference that women are prepared to help other women. Now, when I came into service, like I said, it was about 1% women. And now probably in each of the service, there are about 20% women because you don't have as many men who want to volunteer. And so when I first came in, I wasn't really mentoring any women because there were none to mentor. But I had a real, between my family and Texas Women's University, I could stand on my own 2 feet. And as Dr. Payton said, you go in there and you're the only woman in the group. And I'm thinking, doesn't bother me, long as I'm part of the team. And so, but we've got to have other women to tell young women that, otherwise they don't know it. They think they don't belong. They want to sit in the back. I always sit at the table unless somebody says it's a sign up here that says this is the president, the CEO. I'm sitting at the table and then trying to think of something intelligent, one thing to say. And as Nancy said, we had sent some students earlier to PLEN while I was at TWU. And then later on, I thought, you know what? We really need to get back with PLEN. And so when Nancy said that, we both died laughing. And so now we're back with them. And now that I am retiring Friday, I said, then I will have more time to contribute to doing some things. What young women need to know, I don't care how smart you are, if somebody's not telling you that you're capable, if they're not telling you the kinds of things that you can do, it's a problem. And then we don't get problem solved. And the other thing I learned with being with so many men is they really are different from us. And so some things that are obvious to women are not obvious to men. And if they don't have somebody to point it out to them, they kind of shrug and go, well, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm moving along with what I do. So thank you so much for this honor and for the fabulous work that you do to help young women.
Thank you so much, Major General Saunders. I've just so enjoyed getting to know you over the last few months. So thank you so much for what you've done. So I think we're gonna have another little video here, and then we are way ahead of schedule. So if you want to play the next video.
PLEN taught me many things, most of all how to voice my opinion by myself and not wait for other people to talk on my behalf.
PLEN taught me it's okay to be ambitious. PLEN also gave me the skills and the resources to be a competitive public servant.
PLEN has taught me to not be afraid to use my voice and to take space, because with me are generations of diverse women ready to make changes and to become leaders. Thank you, PLEN.
Thank you, PLEN.
Thank you, PLEN.
Caitlin and Vanessa.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I realize this is not the way most of you have wanted to spend the evening. I would love to have seen everyone in person, but we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for making this evening possible. And, you know, I hear the theme of women helping women through all of your comments tonight. And that is, you know, it moves me. And every year when we have this, I'm just amazed by how accomplished and how just so impressive our award winners are. So I just want to say thank you to our award winners, and you are just amazing and embodying the spirit of PLEN. But I also want to thank and point out to our wonderful sponsors for this event. You know, without you, we would not have the programming that we do. And I want to read through those sponsors who have helped make tonight possible. So huge thanks go out to Exelon, Center for Women in Politics and Public Policy at Texas Women's University, Blue Cross Blue Shield Association, Capital One, Visa, Ed Faro, Newcomb Alumni Association, Solar Industry Energy Association, Curly Company, looking at you, Caitlin, and all our host committee members, in which you've seen listed going across our screens. Without you, and especially, I mean, I have to say it, during these unprecedented times, we would not have the programming that we have in making this possible. And a special shout out to the staff tonight. We've definitely been able to transition and, as you all said, pivot. So shout out to Mackenzie, Marwa, Sarah, Caitlin Spinelli Moore. So for everyone I've mentioned, a little raising my glass tonight for sure. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Caitlin for some comments.
Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks to the PLEN team and all of our sponsors and Mentor Award winners. I remember the phone call that we had as a leadership team back in March. Seems like a lifetime ago, when we decided that we had to postpone the Mentor Awards. I would say that we were one of the first organizations in town to say no, because this was a mid-March event and we were all on the cusp. We had no idea what 3 months later would bring us, but I just have to say that thank you again to our sponsors and our award winners for sticking with us. I'm so glad we were able to make this happen tonight, and I'd just like to say again a special thanks to Sarah and her team for making it happen. From that phone call back in early March where we postponed until tonight, they have been running at 250 miles an hour, and I can't wait to see what they do next. But that said, we can't do it alone. And we need the support. We need the continued support of all of you and all of our friends in our networks. I think that despite times of crisis like this, opportunities abound for women post-COVID. Women are on the front lines of this in more ways than one, and we need more women at the front lines of this after this all resolves, if it ever resolves. So we are so excited about what the new PLEN looks like. I think the global seminar that we hosted last week looks a lot like what we're going to be planning to do. Our continued partnership with our schools, our continued partnership with our alum and our students, our sponsors, and our friends and supporters. So thank you for your support. We'll need your continued support going forward, and we look forward to seeing what's next. So have a great night. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Caitlin and Vanessa. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and we'll see you at a PLEN event, hopefully in person next time.